Do you struggle with the understanding of the techiness behind online videos? Well, today we're going to talk about the advantages of having online video content in this episode of Coffee with Tea. Hi, my friends, and welcome to another episode of Coffee with Tea. I am your host, Tonia Tyler, and I'm excited because, like I said, I call in experts. I am not the digital marketing partner who has all the answers, like what is an SEO. So that's why I brought in Mr. Greg Gosshorn, who is our digital marketing partner at Online Local Video, and he's going to talk to us and tell us a little bit about the advantages of having video. So, Mr. Gosshorn, Greg, may I call you that?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
I want to welcome you for being here. Thank you for coming on. How has everything been doing with you and this COVID-19?
Well, I thank you for asking, and we're blessed. Everybody in the family is good. The business is moving along. We're able to help people. We've got some core clients that are in essential businesses, and we're also giving back to the community, which we always do. And so we're helping people with, like, how to get connected on Zoom, which a lot of people know by now. And one thing that we're doing is we're giving away like free social media covers, like Facebook covers, to share how the business is working. Like, are they open? Is it curbside? Do they have cleaning? Do they have special hours? So aside from doing okay, we're also giving back.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad that you're safe during this time period and stuff like that. So really, we're going to talk about, I have a lot of YouTube people, and we've been talking about SEOs. So first of all, can you explain what SEO means for those who don't know?
Sure. So SEO is search engine optimization. And it makes a lot of sense when you're talking about the video, because YouTube is arguably, however you count it, the second, third biggest search engine there is. It's owned by Google. Google's always looking for video results to show. That's because that's what people want to see, right? Video is what's in people's minds. It's a 90th percentile kind of thing. 90% of the people in the last week or two watched a video. They like to consume things in video. There's crazy numbers of how much of the whole, internet's going to be used just serving video, right? And so it's a great place for anybody who wants to get out there to position themselves.
So I know I asked you really like, what is the SEO? But to really be able to get to the SEO, we have to really talk about what's the advantages of having video for, like, I guess, business owners and stuff like that, right?
Yep, and that's pretty much who we work with and for, right? And so one thing that we love about it, and the broadest thing, and we'll dig into it a little bit more, is that 85% of the users, are watching video on their devices. 54% of consumers want to see more video, from a brand or a business that they support. They're the favorite type of content to see on social media. And the numbers are crazy. Like, they spend, almost 7 hours a week watching videos online in 2019. And I got to tell you, it's probably more now with, staying home and spending more time online.
Right. So, I mean, if businesses really want to move forward, they should really be looking at trying to advocate and add video into their scheme of planning, right?
They should build it in. You can, we'll go through a couple of the reasons why, then we can talk about some of the types of video. But number one of the reasons why and how video works for you is it increases your search engine rankings, right? A properly optimized video, it's like 53 times more likely to appear on page one.
Okay, for those who don't know, what's page one? we gotta break it down.
Okay, forgive me. I'm this guy, I've been on the online for a long time. 7, 8 years ago, I thought video is going to be big. So we spent a lot of time, and I talk some jargon, but yeah, page one of Google could be page one of YouTube, right? People could be searching only on YouTube. And so not just having it up there, but doing these things of optimizing it, using the keywords, in the titles and the tags and the descriptions, and we can dig into that, a little bit more. And so coming from this whole, SEO mindset, that's kind of we'll dig into, then there's broader things of video, just simply increasing engagement, on the page, right?
Mm-hmm.
Videos, websites that have video, your viewer will stay longer, right?
Right.
Without it, so they might leave, and I don't know, there's stats change all the time. They might only stay for 57 seconds if you don't have it, but they might stay for a couple minutes, or 5 minutes if you do have video. And so that extra few minutes of engagement, helps with them, clicking, calling, reading. If I want to put my techie hat on, it helps with, dwell time on the site, getting people to stay on your site, right? It also gives you like a personal connection, right?
Right.
We have a techie side, but we also have a business side and a marketing side. And we know that people do businesses with people, and they do businesses with people that they know, like, and trust.
Right.
And so
Right.
it helps you become that person faster and easier. They've seen your face, they've heard your voice. It often gives them more touches in the client lead cycle, right? I was talking about, like 7 times, right? Well, it could be, they saw a website, they saw an ad, they got an email, they saw a video, they saw 2 videos. Well, they're already at 5 right there, right?
Right.
So that's one of the other ones that it kind of can accelerate the sales process, right?
Right.
So we love it. We love it for that reason. And I don't know, they're all my favorite.
Like I said, you're the go-to guy when it really comes down to when I was talking to you about YouTube and stuff like that. So I know you have to have a passion for this kind of stuff, and so where did that passion for you to really get into the video mindset grow from?
Well, I have always loved it. We had cameras always as a kid, and video cameras, and then that big giant one, that went on your shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
And so we saw it just for the fun of the toys and the recording, with the family and the dogs, and frankly, the band, and my fish.
Right.
So I'm always the guy with that. And it's been a blessing and a great blend, to the business side, that the world kind of evolved that same way too, right?
Right.
So I have the heart of a teacher, and I love to share, and I love to give back. And so we love teaching on this. If we were going to go back to teaching a little bit in the end of the SEO, we would start digging into, like, doing keywords in the titles and the descriptions and the tags, right? So if you've ever uploaded a video to YouTube or anywhere else, and when you do, you'll have these key elements that you have to populate. Now, there's some optional ones, and we can talk about how to utilize those, but there's some that you have to put in there. And so these tags come in those few places, and they should include, your main keywords, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your company name, your location, so, it's AAA moving company in Cincinnati, Ohio, right?
Right.
Because we're kind of backing this in from the way that people search. Because people search for, like, moving company, Cincinnati, Ohio, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then it gets to be a good match for another piece of jargon, the algorithm, right? The the way Google thinks, right? And so Google's moved away from being just a simple, thing that just crawls the web. It is now in the mentality of trying to be the best answer for each person. So if you
Right.
do a search, you get different results than if I do a search, right? So location is really big. Now here's a little pro tip one for some people to write down. If you're doing your YouTube channel, and you're creating these tags, you always want to put like a unique tag for all your videos. So
Mm.
something like, you know, uh, uh, Greg Goshorn, 1, 2, 3. It doesn't make sense to us, but it'll make sense to YouTube. And so let's say somebody's watching one of your videos on YouTube, which isn't always the best place to play it. If we have time, we'll talk about that. But if you notice over on the side of YouTube, there's all these related videos.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you have this unique tag on all of your videos, there'll be a tendency for your videos to be over on that other side
Mm.
and start to take up more places on the page. To stick with YouTube a little bit more when you're uploading, you also get to pick what they call a thumbnail, and that would be the static image, right? That is that's picked. So if you don't have a custom one, and you should, we'll talk about that in a second, you should pick the best one out of the 3 that it's going to give you, right? Now you
Right.
have to hit a certain level with YouTube and be able to turn on some of these things, right? YouTube channel tip, get to 100 subscribers right away. You can get vanity URLs, and it opens up a couple other things. And you can also do a good thumbnail, which a lot of times we often would handcraft, right? And,
Right.
and, and I think I've seen you do some for some of this work. Looking forward to seeing mine. You can also do some custom artwork on your channel, which is your home page, right, on
Right.
YouTube. And so when you customize your channel, you should do your custom header image, right, at the top. Pictures, branding, wording. I mean, that's a great. You don't want to waste that space up there.
Right.
You can actually go in and put links to your website, some of your other social media things. Some people don't always take advantage of that. The other thing you want to do, good one to write down, is under the hood, you can go in and set some defaults for your uploads. So you want to always put something special, like we talked about the description, right, and all of that. But you can also have some stuff that is already in there when you get in there. If you put it in,
Mm-hmm.
and then you add stuff to it, right? So that's a great thing. It's a time saver when you're uploading. Now, one other thing, if I have time.
Yeah, go ahead. You
Um,
still got time. Plenty of time.
okay. The beauty of video is the leverage, right? I mean, my gosh, you create one asset, but you can distribute them all over all these platforms, right? So
Right.
the one video goes, certainly YouTube if you want to get the lift and the SEO and the findability, right? But they go on your website, your blog, Facebook, LinkedIn, Google My Business post, and the profile, both accept videos. Um, how about putting a link to a video in an email or a newsletter?
Mm.
Another pro tip on that one is put the word video in the subject line, in the
Okay.
bracket or video colon or something in there. But what you're going to see is that you'll get a higher open rate.
Okay. So a lot of the stuff, like I mean, I don't mean to cut you off. I just had a question on thinking about like that. You give us a lot of pro tips. So what's like one of the biggest things that you see that people are really not taking advantage of? I know you mentioned something about the the screen and stuff like that, but do you really see like some common errors that you just see when the new video people are putting up?
Well, you should just start, you know, because you're going to end up building a library of videos, and anything worth doing is worth doing poorly. People have bad lighting, you know, so good lighting is a way to improve, right? A good sound, maybe even more important. You know, if somebody wants to, I'm trying to spin it. It's not like what you're doing wrong, but how to do it right. You know, it's like, you
Right,
know,
right, right.
get a good mic. You know, and I don't mean a $400, you know, Blue Yeti. I mean, you can get a thing for 20 or 30 bucks on Amazon. It's a lapel or something, you know, something would sound better than just, you know, the onboard mic on a phone, right? You know, or a laptop. Um, and I think some people make them too long.
Oh yeah. It is
And
too long.
I have a theory on this too, is like, who hasn't watched a long video, right? But that's something you're already, you know, engaged with. You know, I mean, I watched an hour and a half webinar last night, but I care. But in the beginning of the interaction, you know, if you're using this for, you know, one of the first things people see, maybe it's an intro on your site, or maybe it's something small. We always say you should keep the videos short, you know, in the beginning, right? So the one on the homepage, or the first fold of the homepage or something, I mean, maybe less than a minute.
Mm.
You know, I mean, what kind of society do we live in, right? You know, you look at the thing, you're like, 2 minutes? I got 2 minutes. You know, people do that. But if they like you and you're saying good things, you're delivering value, right? Then increase the length, right? Increase the messaging, and they'll stick with you. You
Right,
know,
right.
the biggest, you know, time, you know, brush that we talk about is maybe, you know, under 3 minutes, unless it's something deeper, you know, into what you're doing. But you can say a lot in 3 minutes. I mean, you can you can do, you know, you can deliver the welcome, you can, you know, share tips, you can do an offer, you know, you can, a lot of that fits inside of 3 minutes.
Right, right. I love how you sharing the protests. I love it. So I want to say thank you for sharing those. But what's the one thing you really want to like leave the audience with?
Get started. Here's, you know, even me, you know, I'm looking at myself, I'm like, you know, how do I look? How do I sound, right? You know, uh, get started, you know, nobody does like that, you know, and then there's other ways, you know, if you're not totally against it in the beginning, you know, you can do a screen recording thing, right? Or
Mhm.
you can make a PowerPoint and narrate it and save that as a video. You could do other things, actually build videos without being in front of the camera. These will
Mhm.
all start building your library. So get started, do something, you know, start where you're at with what you got, but have a thought and a vision of what you want to say, and have an understanding to know that it's a journey, and you're gonna you're gonna get better as you
Right, right. So what's the one thing you want your biggest goal for this year?
go. Our biggest goal for this year. Wow, I love that question. You know, as an agency, you know, we want to, you know, bring on, you know, another dozen, you know, residual clients. Um, and videos absolutely part of our mix. We want to keep giving back. You know, I'm blessed with the opportunity to share this messaging. You know, it can be on podcasts. I've given some of these talks, you know, live this year. I've done some. I've done down the Microsoft store to get a 14-foot screen up there. But I love doing the podcasts and we love giving back. So if I can mention this is that we donate videos to charities and nonprofits.
Oh, okay.
So dog rescue, the battered women, Alzheimer's Walk for the Cure, yeah, anything, everything. Our give back goal is 50 this year, and we're
Okay.
behind.
I know the corona's held a lot of people back from a lot of things. So I really want to ask you before we go, where can people find more information about you, your services, and what you do?
Oh, thank you. So online, localvideo.com.
Okay.
And there's a ton of stuff on there. If you do like the / video report, we've got a couple free reports. One of them on the top 8 tips for good video. One of them on the top 5 reasons why online video helps your business. Of course, we just talked about a bunch of those, but the tips are still on there, and there's more meat in there. And again, it's all free, and you can learn about us and what we do, and call anytime, email anytime. The advice is free. If it goes farther, we could help you. Team up with you. Again, we call ourselves like a marketing partner, right? We want to figure out how we can, get you where you want to go. Play our little part in your journey, because you're the hero.
Right. Well, thank you, Greg Gosshorn, for all of your knowledge, your pro tips and things. I want to thank you for being here, and I would love to have you come back on again. And like I said, if I can get some questions, maybe we can have a little more interaction of some of the questions that people have coming in. If not, we can always talk about reputation, right? Because you're a big proponent of that.
Another one of my favorites, because they're big power forces on the internet.
Yes, yeah. So like I said, I thank you for your wisdom and sharing all your insight. And I want to remind our listeners that feedback is always welcomed. Email us if you have any guest or show ideas. All of links to Greg's sites that he mentioned will be posted in the comments. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And remember, take life in stride, go with the flow, and create your own path. And again, thank you for tuning in to this episode of Coffee with Tea. We'll see you back here next time. Bye-bye. Share with us. What was one of your takeaways from today's show? Post your answers in the comments.